Day 220, Isaiah 36 through 39. Hezekiah's prayers. 36. Sennacherib boast against the Lord. 37. Isaiah assured deliverance. Sennacherib's threat and Hezekiah's prayer. The word of the Lord concerning Sennacherib. 38. Hezekiah's life extended. 39. The Babylonian invoice. Isaiah the prophet becomes Isaiah the historian during chapter 36 through 39. Two major historical events dominate the narrative: the attempted invasion of Judah by the Assyrian army in 701 BC and the critical illness that threatened King Hezekiah's life. The taunts of the Assyrian invaders are turned into cries of anguish and retreat as 185,000 die at the hand of the angel of the Lord as a direct answer to Hezekiah's specific prayer. God answers another Hezekiah's prayers by extending his life 15 years, but by using those extra years for selfish pursuit rather than for God's purposes, Hezekiah seals the fate of his nation. The stage is set for Babylon to conquer and carry off the people of Judah, bringing down the curtain on God's judgment.
Chapter 36. Now it happened in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, that Sennacherib king of Assyria came up against all the fortified cities of Judah, and took them. The king of Assyria sent Rabshakeh from Lachish to Jerusalem to King Hezekiah with a great army. He stood by the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field. Then came forth to him Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the recorder. Rabshakeh said to them, Say now to Hezekiah, Thus says the great king, the king of Assyria, What confidence is this in which you trust? I say your counsel and strength for war are but vain words. Now on whom do you trust that you have rebelled against me? Behold, you trust on the staff of this bruised reed, even on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all who trust on him. But if you tell me, We trust in the Lord our God, isn't that he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah has taken away, and has said to Judah and to Jerusalem, You shall worship before this altar? Now therefore please give pledges to my master the king of Assyria, and I will give you 2,000 horses if you are able on your part to set riders on them. How then can you turn away the face of one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put your trust on Egypt for chariots and for horsemen? Am I now come up without the Lord against this land to destroy it? The Lord said to me, Go up against this land and destroy it. Then said Eliakim, and Shebna, and Joah to Rabshakeh, Please speak to your servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and don't speak to us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people who are on the wall. But Rabshakeh said, Has my master sent me to your master and to you to speak these words? Has he not sent me to the men who sit on the wall, to eat their own dung and drink their own water with you? Then Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and said, Hear the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus says the king, Don't let Hezekiah deceive you, for he will not be able to deliver you. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying, The Lord will surely deliver us. This city shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Don't listen to Hezekiah, for thus says the king of Assyria, Make your peace with me, and come out to me, and eat every one of you from his vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink you every one the waters of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying, The Lord will deliver us. Has any of the gods of the nations delivered his land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? Have they delivered Samaria out of my hand? Who are they among all the gods of these countries that have delivered their country out of my hand, that the Lord should deliver Jerusalem out of my hand? But they held their peace, and answered him not a word, for the king's commandment was, saying, Don't answer him. Then came Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the recorder, to Hezekiah with their clothes torn, and told him the words of Rabshakeh. Chapter 37. It happened, when King Hezekiah heard it, that he tore his clothes, and covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Lord. He sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. They said to him, Thus says Hezekiah, This day is a day of trouble, and of rebuke, and of rejection. For the children have come to the birth, and there is no strength to bring forth. It may be that the Lord your God will hear the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria his master sent to defy the living God, and will rebuke the words which the Lord your God has heard. Therefore lift up your prayer for the remnant that is left. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah. Isaiah said to them, Thus shall you tell your master, Thus says the Lord, Don't be afraid of the words that you have heard, with which the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will put a spirit in him, and he shall hear news, and shall return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. So Rabshakeh returned, and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he had departed from Lachish. He heard say concerning Tirhakah the king of Ethiopia, He has come out to fight against you. When he heard it, he sent messengers to Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall you speak to Hezekiah king of Judah, saying, Don't let your God in whom you trust deceive you, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, you have heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands, by destroying them utterly, and shall you be delivered? Have the gods of the nations delivered them, which my fathers have destroyed? Gozan, and Haran, and Reseph, and the children of Eden who were in Telassar? Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Arpad, and the king of the city of Sepharvaim, of Hena and Ivah? Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers, and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord, and spread it before the Lord. Hezekiah prayed to the Lord, saying, O Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, who sits above the cherubim, you are the God, even you alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth, and you have made heaven and earth. Turn your ear, O Lord, and hear. Open your eyes, Lord, and behold, and hear all the words of Sennacherib, who has sent to defy the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have laid waste all the countries and their land, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone, therefore they have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord our God, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you are the Lord, even you only. Then Isaiah the son of Amoz sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, Whereas you have prayed to me against Sennacherib king of Assyria, this is the word which the Lord has spoken concerning him. The virgin daughter of Zion has despised you and ridiculed you. The daughter of Jerusalem has shaken her head at you. Whom have you defied and blasphemed? And against whom have you exalted your voice, and lifted up your eyes on high? Even against the Holy One of Israel. By your servants have you defied the Lord, and have said, With the multitude of my chariots I am come up to the height of the mountains, to the innermost parts of Lebanon, and I will cut down the tall cedars of it, and the choice fir trees of it, and I will enter into its farthest height, the forest of its fruitful field. I have dug and drunk water, and with the sole of my feet will I dry up all the rivers of Egypt. Have you not heard how I have done it long ago, and formed it of ancient times? Now have I brought it to pass, that it should be yours to lay waste fortified cities into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were of small power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field, and as the green herb, as the grass on the housetops, and as a field of grain before it is grown up. But I know your sitting down and your going out, and your coming in, and your raging against me. Because of your raging against me, and because your arrogance has come up into my ears, therefore will I put my hook into your nose, and my bridle in your lips, and I will turn you back by the way which you came. This shall be the sign to you. You shall eat this year that which grows of itself, and in the second year that which springs of the same. And in the third year sow and reap and plant vineyards and eat the fruit of it. The remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah shall again take root downward, and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth a remnant, and out of Mount Zion those who shall escape. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Therefore thus says the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, He shall not come to this city, nor shoot an arrow there, neither shall he come before it with shield, nor cast up a mound against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and he shall not come to this city, says the Lord. For I will defend this city to save it for my own sake, and for my servant David's sake. The angel of the Lord went forth, and struck in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when the men arose early in the morning, behold, these were all dead bodies. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed, and went and returned, and lived at Nineveh. It happened, as he was worshipping in the house of Nisroch his god, that Adremelech and Sharezer his son struck him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Ararat. Esarhaddon his son reigned in his place. Chapter 38. In those days was Hezekiah sick to death. Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz, came to him and said to him, Thus says the Lord, Set your house in order, for you shall die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and prayed to the Lord and said, Remember now, O Lord, I beg you, how I have walked before you in truth, and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in your sight. Hezekiah wept sore. Then came the word of the Lord to Isaiah, saying, Go and tell Hezekiah, Thus says the Lord, the God of David your father, I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. Behold, I will add to your days 15 years. I will deliver you in this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. This shall be the sign to you from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing that he has spoken. Behold, I will cause the shadow on the steps which is gone down on the dial of Ahaz with the sun to return backward 10 steps. So the sun returned 10 steps on the dial whereon it was gone down. The writing of Hezekiah king of Judah when he had been sick and was recovered of his sickness. I said, In the noontide of my days I shall go down into the gates of Sheol. I am deprived of the residue of my years. I said, I shall not see the Lord in the land of the living. I shall see man no more with the inhabitants of the world. My dwelling place is removed, and is carried away from me as a shepherd's tent. I have rolled up like a weaver my life. He will cut me off from the loom. From day even to night will you make an end of me. I quieted myself until morning, as a lion, so he breaks all my bones. From day even to night will you make an end of me. Like a swallow or a crane, so did I chatter. I did moan as a dove. My eyes fail with looking upward. Lord, I am oppressed. Be my collateral. What shall I say? He has both spoken to me, and himself has done it. I shall go softly all my years because of the bitterness of my soul. Lord, by these things men live. Holy therein is the life of my spirit. You restore me and cause me to live. Behold, it was for my peace that I had great bitterness, but you have in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of corruption. For you have cast all my sins behind your back. For Sheol can't praise you, death can't celebrate you, those who go down into the pit can't hope for your truth. The living, he shall praise you as I do this day. The father to the children shall make known your truth. The Lord is ready to save me. Therefore we will sing my songs with stringed instruments all the days of our life in the house of the Lord. Now Isaiah had said, Let them take a cake of figs, and lay it for a plaster on the boil, and he shall recover. Hezekiah also had said, What is the sign that I shall go up to the house of the Lord? Chapter 39. At that time, Merodach-Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he heard that he had been sick and was recovered. Hezekiah was glad of them, and showed them the house of his precious things, the silver and the gold, and the spices, and the precious oil, and the house of all his armor, and all that was found in his treasuries. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah didn't show them. Then came Isaiah the prophet to King Hezekiah, and said to him, What did these men say, and from where did they come to you? Hezekiah said, They are come from a far country to me, even from Babylon. Then he said, What have they seen in your house? Hezekiah answered, All that is in my house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not shown them. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, Hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days are coming, when all that is in your house, and that which your fathers have laid up in store until this day, shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, says the Lord. Of your sons who shall issue from you, whom you shall father, they shall take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, Good is the word of the Lord which you have spoken. He said, moreover, For there shall be peace and truth in my days. The word of the